2025 NFL Draft is stacked with talent, featuring explosive edge rushers, dynamic playmakers, and game-changing athletes across the board. But let's be real, one position always takes center stage: quarterback. With several potential franchise signal callers in the mix, the big question is, who's the best of the best? Let's get into the top 5 quarterbacks of the 2025 draft class. Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. When people try to figure out how good a quarterback is, they usually focus on various things. And when it comes to two of the biggest ones, anticipation and accuracy, Sanders isn't just good. He's ahead of everyone else in this draft class. Just look at the numbers. He's completing 74% of his passes. That's ridiculous. And when you actually watch him play, it's clear as day. This guy's the most accurate quarterback in college football. Short passes, money, mid-range throws, perfect. Deep balls dropped right into the receiver's hands. It's like he's got a GPS built into his arm. And here's another big plus. He's been coached for the last 2 years in Colorado by Pat Shurmur, a guy with NFL experience. That's huge. A lot of college quarterbacks struggle with the transition to the league, but Sanders? He's already got a head start. Now, some people might worry about his flashy personality, but honestly, that might be a good thing. He's comfortable in the spotlight, and NFL quarterbacks live in the spotlight. Press conferences, media scrutiny, all of it. If anything, that confidence could work in his favor. Put him behind a good offensive line in a fast-paced offense, and you know what? He could be a Jared Goff-type quarterback. Smart, efficient, and a legit leader. He could be a star, and he deserves to be picked early in the first round of the draft. Cam Ward, Miami. Ward's path from the incarnate Word Cardinals to Washington State and then to Miami feels like a storyline straight out of a sports movie. The way he's climbed the ranks is wild, and his highlights, absolutely insane. This dude's arm talent is different. He's got a rocket for an arm, and his accuracy, pinpoint. Even when he's on the move, he's slinging darts. People love to throw around the Patrick Mahomes comparison, but honestly, he reminds me more of Jordan Love at Utah State. Now, don't get it twisted. Ward can drop some absolute dimes. But here's the thing, he's a gunslinger, and sometimes that means taking wild risks. For a guy who's thrown more touchdowns than anyone in college football history, he has a habit of testing his luck across the middle a little too much. Pro Football Focus counted 18 times where he threw a pass that could have been intercepted. Compare that to Sanders, who only had 8, and yeah, that's something that'll make NFL teams think twice. And let's keep it real. Teams are definitely asking why he sat out the second half of that bowl game. Miami ended up losing 42-41, and you know scouts aren't just going to let that slide. But look, if teams can get past those concerns, Ward isn't just QB2 in this draft. He could easily jump over Sanders and even go first overall to the Tennessee Titans. Jalen Milroe, Alabama. If we're keeping it real, with all due respect to Sanders and Ward, Milroe is the most talented quarterback in this year's class. Just look at the guy. Built like a tank, runs like a sprinter, and launches the ball like a damn missile. And on top of all that, he's crazy smart. He's the only quarterback in all of college football who's thrown and rushed for over 30 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. And if that wasn't enough, he won the William J. Campbell Trophy, aka the Academic Heisman. You don't just luck into that. Oh, and let's not forget, his own teammates voted him captain as a sophomore and junior. That tells you everything you need to know about his leadership. Now, physically, man, this dude is giving young Michael Vick vibes. That stocky, muscular build, that explosive speed, and the way he plays with so much power, it's different. Now, he's not as shifty as Lamar Jackson, not as physically overwhelming as Jalen Hurts, and not as big as Josh Allen. But you can see that same type of dual threat potential that makes defenses terrified. And let's talk about that arm. This man throws an absolute rocket. He can launch that deep ball with ease, which means safeties can't just sit there and focus on stopping his legs. Because the second they do, boom, he's dropping a dime over the top. Now let's be real. Milroe isn't going to be that classic pocket passer who just stands there and dices defenses up. But guess what? That doesn't even matter anymore. The NFL isn't built for that type of quarterback anymore. And the numbers back it up. He ran the ball over 12 times per game the last 2 years at Alabama. If an NFL team takes him in the first round, best believe they're going to build an offense that lets him cook as a runner. Kyle McCord, Syracuse. After an amazing season at Ohio State in 2023, going 11-1 as their starting quarterback, McCord decided to shake things up and transfer to Syracuse. And man, did he prove a point. He didn't just play well. He led the entire country in passing yards, All those people who said he was only good because of the talent around him at Ohio State? Yeah, he shut that talk down real quick. But it wasn't just the numbers. McCord delivered when it mattered most. He lit up the Hurricanes late in the season, then went absolutely off in a bowl game against Washington State, throwing a record 5 touchdowns. And just when you thought he was done impressing, he showed up to the East-West Shrine game and turned heads in practice. He didn't even need to play in the actual game. His performance in practice was enough to keep the hype going. McCord is what you call a rhythm passer. When he's in the zone and has time in the pocket, he can make any throw you need. Quick release, smooth mechanics, and he knows when to put some heat on it, or when to drop it in with touch. But here's the thing. When the pressure's on, he can get rattled. Sometimes he panics and just chucks it to his first read, even when it's a bad decision. That game against Pittsburgh. Five interceptions. Yeah, not great. That's the kind of performance that makes scouts hesitate. But hey, he's only been a starter for 2 years. Maybe he just needs a little more time to figure things out, kind of like Sam Darnold did. Jackson Dart, Ole Miss. Jackson Dart. Remember the name because this kid is the youngest quarterback on the list, and he's already lighting it up. In just 3 years in the SEC, he threw 50 more touchdowns than interceptions. Yeah, you heard that right, 50 more. That's the kind of production that turns heads. And as we get closer to the 2025 draft, you can bet teams are taking notice.
You know, I think Dart is more of an NFL-ready guy right now. I don't know if he's 100% NFL-ready, but Jalen Milroe's not. If you draft him and you play him, it's a disservice to him and to your organization.
He's young, but he's built for this. He's got the size, the arm, and the confidence to let it rip. And man, can he sling it. He can throw over defenders, around defenders. Whatever it takes, he'll make the throw. And don't think he's just a pocket guy either. If the play breaks down, no problem. Dart's got the athleticism to make something out of nothing. This dude is a playmaker, plain and simple. But here's where things get tricky. His college system didn't really force him to go through a lot of complicated reads, and that's got some scouts a little nervous. The NFL is a whole different world, way faster, way more complex. If he gets thrown into the fire too soon, he could struggle, just like Will Levis did. But if a team gives him time to develop, he could end up being a total steal, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo, who the Patriots grabbed 62nd overall back in 2014. While we can't make everyone who deserves a spot in this video, if there's anyone you think should have made the list, let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a like and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload.